Is it really more worthwhile to spend your time at school learning about obscure battle or to teach you how to manage your personal finances? So in this video, we're going to be going through some of the really important key principles of personal finance that they didn't teach you at school, how you can apply them, and mistakes you should avoid. Investing. If you make 50k a year and you invest 10% of that, by the time you retire, you'll have 1.2 million. Why isn't this taught at school? This is like an absolutely key fundamental understanding, but it's just something that's never picked up at school. Because really, investing is going to be the best way that you're going to grow your money over time. It's about understanding risk, it's about understanding returns, diversification in your portfolio. And these are really kind of core tenets of personal finance and of how you're going to grow your wealth for the longer term, making sure that you're using the right account for your overall financial objectives. And as always, the little book of common sense investing, always worth a read. Compound interest. Compound interest is the idea of putting money away, you earn interest on that money, and then you earn interest on your interest, and so you get this exponential growth of money. Lovely, lovely stuff. And it is the core, the fundamental building block of overall financial security and building wealth. And I think kids should really be taught about the power of compound interest, how they can really deploy it. And the key thing is going to be starting early is better than finishing strong when it comes to compounding. You are your most valuable asset. Now, this for me has two meanings. The first is the kind of broader statement that you should be investing yourself, you should be investing in your skills, constantly trying to expand your experience and your knowledge base in order that you can improve your salary over time. But I think the second one is really kind of underappreciated, which is you need to have insurance plans in place, especially if you've got people who are depending on you. In all probability, your retirement plans are basically centered around the idea of you going out and trading your skills and your experience and your knowledge for cash. So making sure that you've got that safety net, I think, is important and is really undervalued. Insurance. Now, the most important asset of all is your health and well-being. You can't do much with all this money if you're 6 feet under because you've worked yourself to the bone. And what does insurance do? It's basically just going to protect you from potential or future losses in the event of some likely or unlikely event happening. Kids should be learning about the different types of insurance. You have different insurances to do different things. Life insurance and medical insurance are to do with your health and to do with your well-being, but they do very different things financially.
Do you exercise?
But I think it's also safe to say there is a balance. You don't need all kinds of insurance at all times. Budgeting. Now, you don't have to spend much time around this channel to know that I think budgeting is one of the core tenets of financial security. Being able to understand where your money's going, where your money's coming in from is just such a key skill, and I think really forms the bedrock of overall financial security. But how many kids get taught how to do a budget? It's easy to understand the differences between incomings and outgoings, but what are your wants? What are your needs in your budgets? Being able to really categorize your expenses into the things that are immovable, your rent, your mortgage, your utility bills, versus the things that you can have some degree of control over. Your eating out budget, your movie ticket budget, stuff like that. So really understanding how to budget, I think, is just such an important skill. But the thing that's more important than making the budget almost is making sure you check in on the budget. Pensions. Now, the pension is basically there to fund your longer term retirement plans. You pay into it throughout your working life, you get to retirement age and you've got this lovely nest egg sitting there ready to fund your retirement, your tours of golf.
How fucking boring.
If you're travelling around the world, all of that jazz. Pension contributions, different kinds of pensions you open for your kids, maybe you've got private pensions. All of this is stuff that just isn't taught.
I'm retired.
If kids don't really understand why they're paying into a pension or where their money is being invested, they haven't even considered the possibility of consolidating their pensions so they're not doubling up on fees, it can really lead to a situation where retirement is more difficult than it might otherwise have to be. Taxes. Now, everyone has to pay taxes. It will probably be one of, if not the biggest expense in your lifetime. The tax system is unbelievably complicated, and I think there are all sorts of, not loopholes, but there are all sorts of allowances that people don't necessarily know how to take advantage of. And I'm not talking about like some tax dodging offshore Cayman Island stuff. I'm just talking about run-of-the-mill things, which if you have someone or you really understand the tax code, you can understand how to take advantage of those allowances. A really simple one is the UK has marginal income tax rates. So if you can make a pension contribution and you can duck below one marginal income tax rate, you pay less tax and you contribute more to your pension. Win-win. Lovely stuff. How to make large purchases. Now, I think this is split into two, really. The first is how you should fund that purchase. Do you get a personal loan? Do you put it on a credit card? Do you save up for it? That's one thing. But the next thing is understanding how to evaluate different large purchases. Whether you're buying a car, whether you're buying a laptop, understanding the criteria that you're going to use to ultimately assess which is going to be the best for you, and then how you fund it. When those two things come together and you understand both of them, it just means that when you're making large purchases, not only are you buying the right thing, but you're funding it, if at all, the right way. Avoiding debt by using a budget. This is one of the key things that a budget does, in my view. It makes sure that you have an emergency fund, and that if you have an unexpected bill, that you can dip into that emergency fund. Broken down car, broken down dishwasher, leaking roof, all of those sorts of things. And this is because if you have contributing to that emergency fund built into your budget, you're basically in a situation where you're putting that money away. And again, one of the things we talk about on this channel is you don't just necessarily have to be saving for something specific in order to save. It's still a worthwhile habit to get into. Nice segue, being prepared for emergencies. Now, we all have those unexpected expenses that come up, and the emergency fund is there as your nice soft blanket, the cushion that will catch you if you have one of these expenses or an unexpected job loss, and it's just something which can really take the stress out of life. And this is the most important one for me, that money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you choices. Now, I don't want to get all philosophical with people about how money can or can't buy happiness. Money may not make you happy, but having that financial security, having something that you can fall back onto, having, a property that's paid for, having a decent retirement already set up by the time you're in your 40s or your 50s is just, it's one less thing, or it's several dozen fewer things that you have to worry about as you get older. And so when you're in that kind of stronger financial position, it does just free up some of the choices in life. You can do a job that you want to do but pays less because you can afford to do a job that pays less. This has been another video in our series about skills that they don't teach you at school. Click the link below and it will take you to the video about some of the harsh realities of money that they don't teach you at school. Make sure to watch this if you want to level up your financial education. Thanks very much for watching. This is another episode of Modern Money Talk, where we talk all things personal finance, personal development related. Comment below if you think we've missed something, and as always, like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. Peace out.